Good evening. Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to have you all join us for our Spring 2021 virtual demo day. Before we begin, I want to give you just an overview of what you can expect for tonight. First, we will have 7 of our design teams present for 7 minutes apiece. Our design teams program is really a flagship program within the studio, and interdisciplinary student teams, students from across campus get together. They are partnered with an industry or organizational mentor, and over the course of the semester, they go from problem to prototype using a methodology of innovation called human-centered design or design thinking. So we're super excited for you all to hear the projects and prototypes that they've been working on this semester. Second, you will hear from 3 of our 6 Launch Lab teams. Launch Lab has been a pilot program in the studio this semester, and it's specifically geared towards supporting students bringing their product or service ideas to market. So we're really excited for you all to hear the products that they've been working on. I want to take a quick moment, though, to just give a huge thank you to our students. We're so proud of the work that you've done this semester. It's been a weird year for all of us, but I think the way you all have really leaned in and your eagerness to learn and to try new things and to fail has been so inspiring to me, and I know to a lot of us here. So thank you so much, and also know that this is a celebration tonight. Demo Day is a celebration of your work. And so on that note, participants here tonight, I highly encourage you to utilize the chat function. So when students are presenting, if you hear something you like, shoot a note in the main chat and encourage them, or you know, if there's something that resonates with you, share it out in the chat. I think something we want to try to do is bridge that gap between in person and digital, and it's a little strange. You don't hear a round of applause after your presentation, so I think this will help in that. And with that, if you have questions or even potential connections you want to make with individual student teams, I'm going to ask you to use the direct message function in the Zoom chat to connect with students after their presentation. Now, I am so thrilled to introduce you all to our new director of the McMillon Innovation Studio, Justin Erso. Justin joined us in March, and he has extensive experience in both the CPG and startup space, so we're so excited to have him.
Thanks, Rachel. And first of all, I think I need to thank you for all the work that you have been doing this last year. You stepped in a challenging time and really took this studio in an amazing direction and worked with these teams to bring them to where they are today. So thank you for all the work that you have done. And I'm excited to be here. Joining the university was a big honor for me, having been an entrepreneur for the last 8 years. For the time being, I've had an amazing month just spending time listening to these students' projects, hearing about their ideas, their innovations, their dreams. And I've been so inspired by the work that they have been putting in each day in a very trying year while doing much of this remote. And so I'm really proud and excited to see what they're going to present today. I do want to say a big thanks to our mentors. We would not be able to do what we do in the McMillon studio without the mentors. And we're going to have a large array of mentors in the fall joining us as well. We have to thank our sponsors, Kelly and Steve Barnes, Claude and Don Harris, Mike Dooley of the Dooley Group, Sunny Gosan, the Retail Advisory Board, and of course, the McMillon Innovation Studio would not be what it is without the support of Doug and Shelley McMillon. So a big thanks to all of them. And then a huge thanks to Dean Matt Waller, who has been kind enough to join us today. In my own entrepreneurial journeys, he has been a big supporter and advocate. He's been a huge supporter of the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation with the Walton College, and we can't thank him enough for the support that he brings to us. And thank you, Matt, for joining us today. And if you would, please welcome the teams and say a few words for us.
Yeah, well, welcome everybody to demo day of the McMillon Innovation Studio. And Justin, of course, I've known you for quite a while. You're an alum. I am so thrilled that you are running the McMillon Innovation Studio. You've been committed to the university for years, even when you weren't employed here, and you've gained a lot of experience and knowledge in so many fields, including entrepreneurship and innovation. So it's a pleasure to have you. And Rachel, like I said, congratulations on finishing your second year of law school. That's tremendous. I was really afraid when you went to law school you were going to quit engaging with us in the studio, and so thrilled that you didn't. And Sarah, go forth. You have just done such a terrific job of running the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and it's so critical for students. Whether you're going into entrepreneurship or going to work for the biggest company on earth, or anything in between, what you learn in entrepreneurship is extremely valuable. And of course, Deb Williams has been engaged for a long time as well, and she is really the force behind one of my favorite programs that we have, the Venture Innovation Program. And I've been thrilled to hear that it's growing in size quite dramatically. That's tremendous as well. But I do need to think about Doug and Shelley McMillon. You know, they've put $2 million into this, and you know, I really think it's paid off already. And I'm just, it's really a dream come true for many of us to see this happening. And of course, Kelly and Steve Barnes put in money very early, over $500,000, and many others. I won't go through the whole list, but I am grateful to everyone, particularly grateful to the students that have made it so successful. And, you know, Sarah put in the chat, you know, if you're a student, please consider applying to the Venture Intern Program. I don't think there's anything like it at any other university, as far as I know. I would really encourage you to consider it. I love that program. And I'm so glad it's growing. I've heard great things from employers and from students about it. I'm also, you know, Kyle and Natalie, I think you all know Kyle and Natalie, and they've been very involved in the studio for quite a while. And they're getting ready to graduate in May. We're going to miss them. But I interviewed them on the Be Epic podcast about a year ago, I think. And I just put in the chat a link to that podcast. I think it's worth listening to. They did a terrific job on that. But I wanted to just share one thing that I mentioned earlier about leadership and the connection between leadership and innovation and entrepreneurship. You know, there's a famous researcher and management guru by the name of John Kotter, and he's really well known for his teachings on change management. But one thing he said was that, you know, management is about dealing with complexity, and you deal with complexity through organizational structure, staffing, incentives, budgeting, problem solving, et cetera, whereas leadership is about dealing with and driving change. And to lead, you've got to be able to work with a team to set the direction of an organization. You've got to be able to get people aligned in your organization, and you've got to get people motivated, right? That's what leaders actually do. And if you think about it, what you learn in entrepreneurship about really understanding the customer, like customer empathy mapping, just really understanding the journey of the customer, and then taking whatever your solution is and morphing and pivoting to try to get it to the point where you have product market fit, where you actually start getting that demand pull, uh, from the customers, and then working on your business model, getting the business model right, and then scaling. But all of those things that you learn through entrepreneurship and innovation, if you think about it, that's really what you have to do as a leader. I mean, how do you set direction? Well, you've got to really know the customer. How do you get alignment, right? All of these kinds of things are directly related. And I don't think I realized that until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I've been studying business for a long time and engaged in business. So thanks to all of you in the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation for what you're doing. And thanks to the McMillon Innovation Studio for, again, you're not just building up entrepreneurs and innovators, you're building up leaders. And I think, Kyle and Natalie are examples of that. There's many others as well, but those are two that I happen to know more. And I'm grateful for all you're doing. And I am so excited about Demo Day. This is one of the highlights of my year. So I'm so thrilled to be able to witness this. So thank you for all that you all are doing. And now I'm going to sit back and watch the show.
Thank you so much, Matt, for those words. One of the things since coming in, I've been so impressed with is just all the students' ability to communicate. And I think that is one of the key aspects that is building these great leaders. And we're excited to start that process with Demo Day here. And I'm going to introduce you to our graduate assistant, Natalie Means, who will be emceeing this and kicking it off here.
Thank you, Justin. I'm excited to see all these presentations. We are going to kick it off with our first team who has partnered with the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. So I'm going to kick it off to their project leader, Gabby Gifford. So go ahead and share your screen when you're ready, Gabby.
Hi, everyone. We are so excited to be sharing our project that we've been working all semester on. I first wanted to take a moment to introduce the team. I'm Gabby Gifford, and I'll be graduating next week with a degree in international business, and I've had the pleasure of being our project lead this past semester.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jose Torres. I am a freshman at the Walton College of Business, and I am majoring in finance.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ethan Potts. I'm a freshman biomedical engineering student.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen Chen, and I'm a junior computer science major.
Hi, everyone. My name is Colin Smith. I'm a junior here at the University of Arkansas, and I'm majoring in advertising.
And I just wanted to say a big thank you to Deb Williams from the OEI office for mentoring us this past semester. It has been such a pleasure to work with you, and we're so grateful for everything that you've taught us.
So through our understanding of our own experiences and our customer discovery, we dove into our problem statement of how might we help underclassmen cultivate intentional relationships so they can find a sense of belonging here at the U of A. We all have a passion for bringing students back to campus this fall, so our project attempts to solve this.
Meet Jake. The date is August 24th. He lives on campus, but instead of walking to class on that first sunny Monday morning, Jake simply hopped out of his bed, grabbed his laptop, and tuned in via Zoom for his first college class ever. A couple weeks in, Jake has barely met any friends, has spent majority of his time in his dorm, has yet to attend any campus events because there haven't been any, and he's starting to feel as though he doesn't seem to belong anywhere here at the U of A. Flash forward to the end of his freshman year, Jake finds himself on a phone call in tears with his mother because he feels as though this is all his college experience will ever live up to be. He's incredibly nervous for returning to campus this fall, and I wish Jake was alone in this battle. Underclassmen want, no, they need community.
So as we heard from Jake's story, campus right now is empty. Over the last year, we have seen little to no foot traffic from current students at the U of A. As you can see from the picture, campus feels desolate. It looks lonely, and this is not what college should feel like.
We surveyed 475 students, and you can see the makeup of the respondents on the slide. 255 of the respondents currently live on campus. The largest takeaways from our customer discovery are as follows. There is a lack of connection between students. Organized events such as RSOs are not socially stimulating to students. Students are willing to have smaller groups, be in rotations, be outside, pretty much anything to be with other students again. One of the conclusions we came to from the data was that the majority of the respondents do not feel a sense of belonging at the U of A. Overall, students want community again.
So if students are not on campus, then where are they? The relaxing environment and community that coffee shops have offered have drawn students in to take classes, do their homework, and study in their space. With the upcoming fall semester, the question the university is concerned with is, how do we get students back on campus? We want to create a similar environment on campus to allow students a collaborative and comfortable workspace that will welcome them back.
So we observed that students are drawn to two different types of environments. One is a fun environment that has some sort of fun lighting, such as neon. It's inside where the main focus is spending time with your friends. The second environment is one where you can study and relax and you can be outside and you can genuinely enjoy the natural state of Arkansas. We surveyed some students through the McMillon Innovation Instagram, and they kind of gave us the direction of our project and what we went with for the rest of the semester. So with that, we're so excited to introduce to you the Sweet Spot. As you can see, we have created a space that is both an area for students to study alone or in groups, or simply a place to relax and catch up with friends. We would like to offer some sort of coffee cart option for students to have the opportunity to sip their favorite drink while relaxing and enjoying the space that is provided. Along with the coffee cart, we would like to offer some sort of swings and hammocks and games just to encourage students to find community and spend time with other students and really get that sense of community that students are looking for. Ultimately, the Sweet Spot is a place to learn, a place to relax, and a place to stay a while. The materials that we're looking to use include wood to create the tables, polyethylene as a grass substitute, Vondum for all of the outdoor seating, metal in order to hang poles from, and awnings and swings. We would like to provide some sort of glass whiteboards that would be under the awnings to encourage collaborative learning. Hammocks, we would like to provide a few, but we also know students will bring their own, so just having a good mix. Awnings in order to provide shade over the study areas, and then swings just to kind of encourage a fun environment back on campus. The color scheme that we have over to the left is colors that are pre-approved by the university, and we would just like to use those types of colors just to bring life back and color and just make this space really welcoming and exciting, and ultimately welcome students back to campus in the fall.
Our financial estimations are presented in the table. We calculated the quantity of each material and have discovered the pricing of each of them. Our total amount resulted in a rough estimate of only $50,000. Now, this is an estimate that is more on the high end, but it'll range from $40,000 to $50,000 depending on the exact materials and where we get them from. But please note that the expenses only cover the materials and not the cost of labor.
So how do we make this a reality? We believe the best way for the Sweet Spot to come to life is through partnerships. We're looking for potential partners across campus who are interested in bringing students back to campus, such as Chartwell's, the university food provider. We would also like to request that unused student fees from the past year due to COVID be used for this space. As for location, we believe that the Union Mall is the best place for the Sweet Spot.
The goals of the Sweet Spot are to create community and bring students back to campus.
In the fall, Jake comes back to campus. He is sitting at one of the study tables. Another student approaches him and asks him to come play cornhole. After the game, they invite him to come hang out with them. Finally, Jake has taken his first step in the direction of community. We perceive the Sweet Spot as being an incredible addition to invite students back to campus. We are so excited about the future of this project, If you are interested in making this a reality, please feel free to contact any of us for more information.
A big thank you to the studio, Rachel, Natalie, Justin, and Carter for an incredible semester. We hope that you guys enjoyed the sweet spot, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much to the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation team. That was great. Our next team to present partnered with the Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center. So I'm going to pass it over to their project lead, Danny, to share her screen.
Hello. Okay, let me share my screen. Slideshow. The most human trait is to want to know how. How can we be better? How can we solve inequity? And how can we come together to be stronger in a more cohesive society? How can we teach allyship on an economic level? Racial inequality is a prominent issue across all parts of the United States. Systemic racism and deeply rooted governmental bias have led to clear gaps in inequality across races. Northwest Arkansas has only widened its income inequality. In fact, the region ranked 15th in inequity out of 916 metropolitan areas nationally. Hey, my name is Danny.
Hey, my name is Natalie.
Hey, my name is Wilson.
Hello, my name is Chantal.
Hi, my name is Caleb.
Hi, my name is Darby. Our mentors are Mary Beth Brooks and Catherine Corley from the Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center. Maintaining success in small businesses can be extremely challenging, especially during the era we live in. Many owners get left behind due to structural inequality that has plagued the economic development throughout history. Although we cannot go back in time and clean up past mistakes, our generation can learn from those who came before us. How might we reimagine the model for local marginalized restaurateurs to be able to provide accessible resources and financial stability?
Our team worked on 3 ideas throughout our prototyping phase, all to hone in on one final project. We worked on a food truck incubator idea, food hall project, and a meal kit model to increase revenue streams for business owners and bring diverse cuisine to NWA. However, after receiving feedback from our mentors and local business owners, these ideas wouldn't have solved the underlying issue that business owners face of resource disparity. This also wouldn't have made sense during COVID when owners are already strapped for time. Therefore, we decided to focus on developing our community connector of allocating students, resources, university assets, and business owners in need. We created a dialogue with community organizations to pinpoint pain areas and small business support within NWA through customer discovery. This allowed us to explore ways that we could work together to improve upon current systems. For small business and restaurant owners, access to loans and financial aid is vital. Although minority-owned firms make up a significant portion of national businesses, small business loans are granted at much lower rates. The system has made it extremely hard for minorities to get ahead. White business owners start their business with an average of $106,720 in working capital, compared to African American owned businesses which are started with an average of just $35,205. Many small business owners do not apply for loans or financial aid because they already feel they have no chance. Even when minority-owned businesses are granted loans, they are for much smaller amounts. All of this in mind, Chantal will now begin to walk you through who our user persona is.
Jane Doe is a second-generation Hispanic who owns a restaurant in Fayetteville, Arkansas. She has been struggling with her business during the pandemic and is afraid her restaurant may close. Her restaurant currently has social media accounts, but no website or consistent content. She is unaware of what resources there are for her to keep her business afloat, and is reluctant to ask for help for fear of denial. During our customer discovery, we recognized that small business owners across all demographics struggle with finding time to learn new digital tools and communication platforms. Although many understand that they must adapt to stay relevant, learning curves can often become an overwhelming barrier. Many small business advocacy groups in our area would be happy to be a supporting bridge, but resources are not getting matched intentionally to the right businesses, particularly minority-owned. Now, Natalie will walk you through the experience of our Community Connector program.
Meet Sophia, our first student intern who will be in our Community Connector pilot program. Sophia will be part of an internship for a semester long for students to work with and help small businesses around the Northwest Arkansas area. The internship would allow Sophia to work closely and create connections with small businesses that benefit both parties. Sophia will have a structured research project to help bridge the gaps in resource allocation in the Northwest Arkansas business community. This will involve doing in-person visits, analyzing data resource disparity, and turning in weekly reports to project managers. Our ideal candidate is a student that is passionate about social impact and ideally bilingual to help close some of those cultural and language barriers that resource groups often experience. Caleb will now go over what the future of our project and what the future of innovation in the restaurant community looks like.
Our timeline for implementation includes interviewing potential candidates as well as finding a program to continue this research and support. Ideally, we would like to see continuity of our research through the Office of Entrepreneurship and their Venture Internship Program or the Social Innovation Challenge. These programs encourage students to work on difficult social impact problems within the Northwest Arkansas area. Moving forward, we will be working with Deb Williams and Sarah Goforth in the OEI office to ideate on how these community connections can grow incrementally. Our university has tremendous resources to make a real difference to our neighbors who need it. We just need to create these mutually beneficial, interconnected relationships. In addition, one of our goals of our research would be to target the ways that we can match consumer needs with business operations now and in the future. In-person dining will adapt to new behaviors and wishes. And we hope that our emphasis on creating more equitable foundation will allow small business owners to feel empowered to make fair business decisions and model adaptations based on new markets and new environments. Through customer discovery, we recognize that consumers are looking for options that are healthier, convenient, of quality, and streamlined from order to purchase. Consumers will be seeking out experimental dining, outdoor offerings, unique menu items, and digital tools that aid in selecting different services our local businesses offer. However, currently, small businesses are struggling for air and focused on healing that economic hit they've experienced in this past 12 months. That being said, a foundational project to help bridge the gaps in resource allocation will allow the ASBTDC to have an incredible positive impact within the Northwest Arkansas area. Finally, I'll pass it over to Darby to finish up some of our last thoughts.
Overall, our goal is to come up with a solution that alleviates stress from the business owner while also giving students the chance to work within their community. By funding this program, owners will learn valuable skills that can be used to improve business expansion. The community will feel empowered for fostering resource connections, and students will take home a unique learning opportunity from the opportunity of making an impact on the community. Thank you for listening to our pitch, and thank you to the McMillon Innovation Studio and ASBTDC for this opportunity.
Thank you, ASB TDC team. Next, we will hear from the project team who partnered with Johnson & Johnson this semester. I'll hand it over to their project leader, Christopher Anderson, to share his screen.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Pinpoint by the Johnson & Johnson team of the McMillon Innovation Studio.
My name is Monica Uribe, and I'm a marketing major.
Hi, I'm Toma. I study computer science.
My name's Chris. I study in supply chain and minor in marketing.
Hi, my name is Peyton, and I'm a senior mechanical engineering student.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie Scott, and I study HR management.
And I'm Sydney Busfield, and I study supply chain and sustainability. In September of 2020, Walmart presented its suppliers with a huge logistical challenge by increasing their service requirements and increasing penalty fines. Specifically, Walmart increased their OTIF requirements from 87.5% to 98%, With J&J's 2020 performance coming in at 93% OTIF, they were expecting a total cost increase of $4 million annually. Let's dive deeper to understand this problem.
Now, some of you guys are probably wondering what OTIF stands for and what it represents. Well, in short, it stands for on time and in full and represents the supplier's ability to deliver products within a desired delivery window and at the full quantity that the buyer had ordered.
Peyton gave a good overview of what OTIF is, and the 3 departments included in this process is order management, transportation, and distribution center personnel.
What does the order process look like? So step 1, Walmart ordering department places an order with Johnson & Johnson to be delivered. Step 2, the order management team at Johnson & Johnson received the order and they check if everything is running smoothly. Step 3, after the order is received, next step is the transportation team. This is the first leg of transporting the products from SAP to the load center. Step 4, from step 3, the order is offered off to a bigger carrier. At this point, a carrier can accept or decline the order. Step 5, now back at the Johnson & Johnson distribution center, the order is being packed and filled and loaded on the truck ready for delivery to Walmart. Step 6, the carrier who accepted the order is now on their way to the Walmart distribution center. Step 7, the order is completed.
We conducted the survey on 16 different workers from Johnson & Johnson Walmart supply chain team to identify the issues that are causing the audit rate to not be met. There were 2 key findings from our research. The first is that upstream issues that are the problems at the central distribution center level lead to the process failures at the endpoints. And communication delays within the supply chain team cause the process failures. Given these findings, here's our solution.
Our solution is Pinpoint. Now we have a quick video demo for you to enjoy. So as we see, the Pinpoint app would be a BYOD accessible app, which means you can download it from any device as long as you have a mobile device. This would be a single sign-on application. So as long as you have your Johnson & Johnson credentials active, you can log into this app. So right now we're looking at the home screen. All these names we see, it's everybody who's included in the order process. We're going to digest into every single tier and see why we didn't achieve 98% this week. And with this, we hope to go 98% this week and every week going forward. So right now we're looking at our top reason code for last week. So we see that there was late trucks, there was multiple carrier rejections, and then there was late pick times. If you want to see a more detailed report of all the reason codes, all we have to do is click for weekly report and it goes right into our email. So let's go to transportation. So now we're looking at our top 3 carriers decline count. So we're looking at how many times did our carrier decline our shipments this week. So right now we see that JB Hunt declined 10, Swift declined 17, and American Best Freight declined 0. So it's telling us this week we need to make sure that we use American Best Freight because they're at 100% at accepting shipments. So now we're looking at our last week production percentage with our pickers, and then we're looking also at our 2 weeks ago production percentage with our pickers. So right now we see that last week there was at 94%, and then 2 weeks ago there was at 100%. The reason for loss is that 12 workers called in. So now we know that we need to make sure that our pickers are our staff when we're doing our shipments. So normally our pickers and packers go on the same line as far as production percentage. So this week is where they do fall in line. So right now we see that there was at 94% last week, and 2 weeks ago there was at 100%. The reason for loss, pickers were late on orders. So now we're going into our truck drivers. We're looking at our carrier stats. So right here on this row, we're seeing all of our carriers that we used last week. And then on this row, we're looking at each time that they missed a shipment. So we see right here, American Best Freight missed 0 shipments. And right here is our carrier on-time delivery. And we see that American Best Freight was at 100%. If you want to see a full detailed report of our carrier stats, send to our email. So let's look at 3 other functions that we have. We have our last week OTIF percentage. So now we have an easy graph for everybody to see. And they can see that last week that we was at 96%. And 2 weeks ago, we was at 97%. We have our key terms. Everybody doesn't know what some of these words mean, and they want to understand what the role is in OTIF. So right here, we're going to have terms where they can understand each thing that's important in the OTIF. And if they want to know more about the carrier codes of which carrier means what, all they have to do is click this and go to the next page. We have our Better Me app. Better Me app is the motivation to get you through the week. So each week is going to give you some new motivation for you to look forward to. It's like workload, making sure that you're heavily motivated and making sure that the positivity is staying going. So with this, all these functions that we have, we figured that if we pinpoint the problem, we can make sure that we achieve 98% this week and every week going forward. Thank you. We'd like to thank our mentors, Kyle Hart, Chris Hamburger, and Ariana Tate. Without this, any of this would be impossible. So thank you guys. We'd like to thank our other mentors in the studio, and let's pinpoint the problem. Thank you guys.
Thank you, J&J team. Next, we're going to hear from a team that partnered with Arkansas COVID, the School of Journalism, and UAMS. I'm going to pass it over to Juan Mendez, their project lead, to share his screen.
Can y'all hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. I want you to take a second and think back to that moment you realized the pandemic was a very serious situation. Do you remember the emotions you felt as you began learning that crucial information to make the best decisions in order to keep yourself and your family protected? An estimated 230,000 Arkansans, member of our Latinx community, and who many times do not speak English, did not have this information readily available. What they found instead was contradictory information, misinformation, and a lack of resources to stay informed. Our problem: how might we increase COVID-19 news awareness in the Arkansas Latinx community through outreach so that people are equipped with the most up-to-date information on the pandemic and vaccines? My name is Juan Mendez, and I'm the student project lead of the Arkansas COVID Latinx Community Outreach Project, and I'd like to introduce you to our team. Our team members, Ray Woods, Bhumi Patel, Mariela Estrada, Anusha Bhattacharya, myself, Juan Mendez, Dr. Rob Wells from the Journalism Department, and Dr. Claire Brown from UAMS. Today, we'll be taking you through our customer discovery, our ideation and prototypes, the implementation, and ideation and testing. Our customer discovery. In our customer discovery, we found our qualitative data through different interviews with participants from the surveys. We conducted over 56 surveys, and we also conducted 17 interviews. In our interviews, we found that people felt loneliness, frustration, and confusion throughout the pandemic. Many of them didn't understand how the spread was happening, and the news inconsistencies didn't help the issue. Many of them were concerned, especially around masks. They were getting confused or mixed messages around mask wearing and wearing it or not wearing it. Responses from participants were strong at times, including a poultry worker who shared, "Our workplace didn't tell us how severe the situation was until one of our supervisors passed away." Next, I'll be handing it off to Anusha, who will be sharing our quantitative data.
Hi, I'm Anusha Bhattacharya, and along other quantitative data that we managed to attain is their main news source. Number one being the television, number two being the Arkansas Department of Health website, and number three being Facebook. We also happened to find out that Twitter was not a news source for our participants. When it came to how our participants felt like, next page, felt like if they had access to reliable information or meeting the needs, having sufficient information, etc., we found the trend that our participants felt like they were receiving a lot of information, but they did not find that reliable. Instead, they were looking for direct information with less jargon. When it came to how their news watching habits, they looked at the news in the morning and evening time and in a weekly to daily basis. I'll be passing it off to Boomi.
Thank you. So for our ideation and prototyping, one of our ideas was placing QR codes placing QR codes that would promote the Arkansas COVID in Espanol website. And those would be placed at different public places, for example, medical centers or Latin-owned businesses. However, we decided to pivot away from this idea because there's a lot of lack of familiarity with QR codes among people. There are many people who don't know that they have to turn on their camera and then focus on the QR code for the link to pop up. And then another reason is that many people don't have access to smartphones or a smartphone with a working camera or even data service or Wi-Fi at the moment. So we thought that this idea was just not worth exploring, and we moved on focusing on other prototypes, which Ray will talk to you about.
Thanks, Boomi. So another prototype that we ended up shifting away from was a texting function. In an attempt to answer the question of how to get necessary information to the Latinx community, our team came up with the idea of a mass texting function. This prototype will provide relevant information in Spanish from a reputable source known within the community regarding the COVID situation and vaccine. However, we decided to move away from this idea because it wasn't feasible to implement due to the limited time, staffing, and funding. But now Marielle is going to tell us about another prototype we were able to implement.
Thanks, Ray. Based on our customer discovery, we sought to find a solution that would inform the Latinx community about COVID-19 and the vaccines. In Arkansas, less than 30% of the Hispanic population has been vaccinated. Therefore, we decided that a Facebook Live community forum would be an opportunity to provide information and resources in regard to the vaccine. The community forum would include a panel of members of the Latinx community, as well as an opportunity for the community to ask questions. This event brought us to our second prototype concept. We decided that Facebook ads would be a great way to advertise the event, as well as increase the exposure of Arkansas COVID in Espanol. With so much uncertainty regarding COVID-19, our team had the amazing opportunity to see some of our prototypes turn into solutions. We hosted a Facebook Live community forum on April 11th, where we had moderators and guest speakers talk about COVID-19. With the help of the Latinx community, we were able to reach individuals all over the state of Arkansas as they shared our flyer and informational. For our event, we had 3 guest speakers. They were Dr. Carlos Acosta from the U of A, Amanda Chagoyen, COO at Community Clinic, and Rachel Sanchez-Smith, reporter for Arkansas COVID in Espanol. The focus of the forum was to provide information and answer questions concerning COVID and the vaccine. The event was recorded and has been made available as an active public resource on YouTube and the Facebook page. We were able to implement our Facebook ad prototype to continue advertising the video, as well as Arkansas COVID in Espanol, where their page has information and resources in regard to COVID-19 and the vaccines. Next, Juan is going to talk about our collaborations.
Mariela, our work this semester was important and really helped Arkansas COVID determine the right strategy in focusing their limited resources into an effective channel like Facebook. I would like to thank our team for all their hard work this semester, and I want to thank our partners that we were able to collaborate with to make some of these things happen, including the NWA Latinx Task Force, who helped us with how to do some of the outreach, what works and what doesn't work in doing community work. The leadership of the McMillon Innovation Studio for taking the time and dedicating resources to this important project for the Latinx community. UAMS, who we were able to partner with via Dr. Claire Brown, and was a huge resource for us when it came to looking at different data points and trying to do some of this outreach as well through data. And La Prensa Libre, who helped us spread the word about the event on April 11th and made sure that people were aware, and also helped us recruit people for participating through our customer discovery. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Juan, and your team for sharing that with us. Next, we will hear from the team that partnered with the University of Arkansas Student Success Center. So Alexa, I'll hand it over to you to share your screen.
If you're a student, have you spent the last year struggling to keep up with the curriculum or connecting with other students? Do you feel unmotivated or stressed from a seemingly increased workload? Unistudy is a catalyst to bridging the gaps created by the virtual learning experience. This app was created in coordination with the University of Arkansas and the McMillon Innovation Studio. We're incredibly grateful to have worked with our mentors at the Student Success Center, Don Todd Nick, Trevor Francis, Danielle Dunn, and Jessica Izelski. Hi, I'm Alexa DeLuge.
I'm Brooke Lawson.
I'm Jack Norris.
Hey everybody, I'm Nadia Barbarawi.
I'm Paxton Libby.
And I'm Sheltorn Warren.
And this is Madison. She is a second-year nursing student living in an off-campus apartment. Madison is nervous to start her first round of clinicals since she has not seen bedside manner firsthand. Having only had virtual training, Madison doesn't feel as equipped to start her professional career. As the school year moves on, Madison would anxiously wander through the library, hoping to spot an open study space. More often than not, all the tables were full, causing Madison to lose potential study time.
So Madison, along with the 100 other students surveyed at the University of Arkansas, feel similar pain points. Some of these pain points include feeling unmotivated, disconnected, lonely, and a higher workload. As a team, we wanted to tackle how to better develop a digital learning environment that also fosters personal connection.
During the customer discovery process, we asked several students what the best method of connecting with other students would be. While there were many students who wanted in-person events, it was interesting to see that almost 40% of these students surveyed would be comfortable with an online platform. This question served as a pivot point for us because this is where we decided to focus on more of a digital-based solution.
Yeah, so our team faced the challenge of optimizing study spaces on campus for students' academic success and connecting students socially. We initially thought about creating a friend finder that grouped peers together based on hobbies or common interests. But we quickly realized that we weren't relieving true student pain points with this initial idea. So as Sheltwan said, we had to pivot. We decided to curate a prototype for an application that would connect students to relieve their feelings of loneliness and disconnection and help them meet classmates to mimic the valuable in-person experience that encourages integrated learning.
So this is our final prototype, Unistudy. We wanted to focus on three main capabilities: the ability to reserve, connect, and display the availability and busyness of certain study rooms. We wanted to make this reservation process easier and more personal for students. All we had to do was simply have them log in with their UARK username and passcode. And we added study preferences so that students could better optimize their study space and make it more personalized. This is our main menu. You can see our groups and reservation page. We wanted to offer the groups page so that students could better connect with one another in their classes. Very easy, you can enter course code, professor names, classmate names. And for the reservation process, we wanted to keep this even more simple. So when you have your preferences pages, when you originally log in, it'll automatically filter out the buildings based off of your personal study preferences. We also wanted to give students the directions feature so that it's not limited to just the COVID era, so students could get better acquainted with the campus. So when you click on a building of your choice, it'll bring you to the availability of all the rooms in that building. And you just have to filter out your date and your time, and you'll see the green spaces mean open, red spaces mean closed. So you just click on the ones you'd want to confirm. And probably our most beneficial feature is the capacity feature. We actually created a working prototype that will show you the occupancy levels of each room so that no time is wasted looking for an open study room during finals week.
As Alexa said, one of the main functionalities that we really wanted to integrate into our app was the ability to see how crowded a study space was before ever setting foot in it. To measure the occupancy of rooms, we'll detect the Bluetooth low energy signals from smartphones by utilizing the ESP32 microcontroller. This tiny little computer sends the occupancy levels of rooms to a server that enables our mobile app to convey this occupancy information to students. This detection strategy is both energy efficient and non-intrusive. We don't gather any information on the devices that we detect, and Bluetooth Low Energy, as you'd expect, doesn't drain too much of people's battery. Jargon aside, if you were to install our device in a room and a student walks into that room with our app installed, the device can pick up and display how many people are in that room. For the occupancy detection portion of our app, we actually built out a prototype with limited capabilities. And in just a moment, we'll show you a quick demo of that. So you'll see that as someone enters and leaves McMillon Studios, our app updates accordingly. As Nadia, one of our team members, enters McMillon, our app updates to 1 out of 4 the capacity of the studio. And shortly, we'll see that as she leaves, it will update back to 0 out of 4. For those of you curious, our app is built out using something called React Native. It's a JavaScript framework that allows us to write one set of code that runs on virtually all devices, making changes and pivoting and functionality really easy. The applications of this technology don't end in the university sphere by any means. It has use cases that extend into areas such as public transportation, small businesses, retail, and so much more. University spaces at this point are really just a stepping stone.
So, with the help of this app, Madison is able to connect with her fellow nursing majors to tackle difficult topics and practice hospital simulations together. Unistudy shows Madison rooms available on campus to study, and she and her friends never knew that they were there. Being able to see the availability of each study space, Madison is no longer anxious to go on campus and to study, that she knows she can find room with ease.
Thank you so much to the student success team. Next, we will hear from the Leisure List team, and I'll pass it off to Raquel to share your screen.
Hi, everybody. My name is Raquel Thompson, and I'm the project lead for the Harmony Consulting / Leisure List team. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right in. So this is my team here. This is Cullum Clampett, Carter Kirkland, Virginia Hammond, and Wenji Zhu. And we had the privilege of having our mentor be Jaren Naley this semester, and she was very, very helpful. So a huge thank you to her. So our problem statement this semester was, how might we help underrepresented communities feel valued, visible, and engaged in the Northwest Arkansas area? And in order to understand the solution, we decided to dive a little bit deeper into the problem itself. So as you can see, there is a stark lack of diversity here in Northwest Arkansas, and these are the demographics of the largest city in Northwest Arkansas, which is Fayetteville. And a lack of diversity can often lead to limited exposure to varying perspectives, which has historically led to harmful development of stereotypes and prejudice. When this occurs, barriers such as inequality for minorities often arise. The good news is that Northwest Arkansas's population is growing and the diversity is growing as well. This is great for Northwest Arkansas because diversity tends to lead to greater innovation and economic growth. So we want to make sure that we are creating a space that is equitable and inclusive as possible so that we can combat those issues I made in my first point. And we believe that our solution will do just that. So now I'm gonna talk more about our customer discovery and how we came to our ideation process. So we sent out a survey to residents in Northwest Arkansas. We got about 2,400 responses. And we realized that a lot of people genuinely felt positive about the area. About 87% felt included in Northwest Arkansas and 89% felt comfortable here. We did notice that there were two things that indicated inequality, which were language barriers and disabilities. So we chose to focus a little bit deeper on those two things in our solution. So when we did our interviews, we often found that the common takeaways were that when dealing with brands and organizations, people were looking for intentionality, internal diverse leadership and representation, and transparency and authenticity. And sorry about that. And how people felt about the area in general is that they love that Northwest Arkansas is a thriving innovation and entrepreneurial community, and they love that most people here have common goals and desires. So now I'll pass it on to my teammate Wenji, and she's going to discuss our idea.
Our first prototype is a cultural block party, which includes mural art, food, and vendors, especially those owned by underrepresented connected communities in Northwest Arkansas. And this event is meant to unite the community and highlight the diverse voices. And here you see two layouts of our event in Momentary and Dixon Street.
So while looking for organizations that could help us execute the Cultural Block Party, we connected with Interform, which is an organization that fosters creative growth and change in Northwest Arkansas by providing resources and exposure to local artists, especially artists of the underrepresented community category. So when we contacted them, they told us that they were actually planning an event very similar to ours, and they asked if we would like to partner with them. So the event is called Assembly, and it's going to take place on Emma Avenue in downtown Springdale on May 29th. And we are very, very excited about this partnership, which my teammates Virginia and Cullum will go more in depth about.
So our group would be over the food portion of the event, which would consist of local and diverse vendors, and a Tell Your Story tent where people can speak on their experiences. Our hope is that by providing this experience, the community will be able to see and engage with restaurants owned by minority populations, as well as share their experiences on life with diversity in Northwest Arkansas. I will pass it to Cullum to dive deeper into our Interform collaboration.
We have thought through ways to eliminate language barriers through a menu translation software, created a plan for showcasing minority-owned restaurants, worked to ensure our event is accessible for those with mobility disabilities, and have intentions of utilizing university volunteer organizations to help execute the event.
So as we continued in our discovery process, we realized that there was a broader need for support of small businesses who could be counseled in DEI initiatives within their own organizations. We also wanted to ensure sustainability in future endeavors like the event in May, while also helping to support and grow diversity inclusion efforts in the area. So our initial prototype led to the idea of our new business, Harmony Consulting, which my teammate Carter will discuss.
Introducing Harmony Consulting. Harmony Consulting as a business accomplishes our goal by ensuring that small businesses are equipped to address diversity and equity needs in our community. Many small businesses can't afford for an in-house diversity expert, so this allows for a resourceful alternative. Harmony Consulting will also focus on supporting all underrepresented communities of NWA, ensuring equity by offering affordable resources and connections. Based on our customer discovery and the desire to have more companies in the area have internal leadership roles for diverse individuals, we also envision our team helping minorities gain leadership roles in the area through networking events and professional development opportunities. We believe all these services address major concerns and visions for improvement based on our customer discovery. We believe that Harmony Consulting can play a pivotal role in ensuring the diversification and growth of NWA. My teammate Virginia is going to talk about how we'd like to expand on this.
So playing off of our event plan partnership with Interform, we still wanted to keep the interactive aspect of our idea with this new startup. So we hope to put on an annual event at the Momentary through Harmony Consulting. Maintaining the partnerships we've created this year with Interform, we believe that creating spaces and opportunity for exposure and collaboration, paired with a business designed to encourage and promote diversity and equity within small business, can serve as a vehicle for unity and equality in the Northwest Arkansas community.
So that is our presentation. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to direct message me or email me at the email on the screen. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Raquel and your team. Next, we will hear from the team that partnered with Happy Egg. Haley, I'll let you go ahead and share your screen and get started.
Hello. Oh, let me take my mask off. Hello, my name is Haley and I'm here with my team. Oh, this is the last slide. I'm sorry. I don't know how to go back. Just give it away. Okay. Hello, my name is Haley and I'm here with my team, Annette, Ben, Kennedy, Matt, and Seth. Our industry partner this semester was Whitney Fortin with Happy Egg, and today we'd like to introduce you to the future egg packaging, Eggy. Have you ever found a cracked egg in a brand new carton of eggs? Maybe you got lucky and caught the broken one at the store, but maybe you didn't notice until you got home. How can you know the other eggs in the carton are safe to use? That's the problem we set out to solve. How might we reduce the risk with eggs so that home cooks are confident their eggs are safe to use every time?
We surveyed over 1,500 people from all over the world. Most of them are female, most of them are between 24 and 50, and all of them eat or cook with eggs. And while 91% of respondents are confident their eggs are cooked safely, 67% of them worry about egg safety while cooking. When we dug further in individual interviews, we saw a few common themes. Consumers seem to trust eggs when they come from a neighbor or friend's chickens, but they don't trust things like expiration dates on store-bought eggs. How can they know for sure their egg is fresh and safe to use if they don't know exactly how it was treated once it was laid? Customers are worried about egg safety and whether their eggs are arriving home safely.
Introducing Jeggy, a revolutionary way of keeping eggs cold and crack-free from farm to home fridge. Jeggy packages farm-fresh eggs into food-safe gelatin that conform to the unique shape of each egg, holding it perfectly and keeping it from developing cracks that could contaminate your cooking. An egg in a Jeggy box can be dropped from 8 feet and survive with no visible cracks. We chose the name Jeggy because it combines the two main ingredients of our packaging system, gelatin and eggs.
The all-natural gel in Jeggy boxes keeps eggs colder than cardboard alone when transporting from store to home and when left out of the fridge. The gel is aerated to be light and to keep eggs fresh. Due to the insulating properties of the gel, a Jeggy box can be unrefrigerated for hours while maintaining safe egg temperatures, much longer than a traditional egg carton. This means local farmers can transport eggs in a Jeggy box without using a refrigerated truck for certain distances, saving money and energy. The entire Jeggy package is home compostable. The non-toxic cardboard is safe to put in a home compost bin or simply recycled. The gel is water soluble and a natural plant fertilizer, so it can be placed in soil as plant food or simply washed down the drain. A thin film of bio-friendly cling wrap keeps eggs free of gelatin when removed from the Jeggy. This wrap can be easily separated from the gelatin and composted. You can feel confident that with Jeggy, you are not adding waste to a landfill.
Our first solutions focused on informing customers about the risk of egg safety, but we soon realized that this did not solve the underlying problem. Eggs keep getting cracked on their journey from the coop. The egg carton has hardly changed since it was first introduced in 1927, and we believe Jeggy is the 21st century solution to egg transportation. Compared to a styrofoam egg carton, Jeggy stands above by insulating eggs, conforming to egg shape, protecting eggs from cracks, and providing a 100% compostable option. With the increasing importance being placed on sustainability, both in packaging and overall supply chain, this product directly appeals to consumers.
Jeggy is a solution for egg manufacturers like Happy Egg as an alternative to traditional cartons. Eggs are placed into the Jeggy at the normal packaging location, then transported to stores for sale. Our innovative design will differentiate existing product lines, catching the eyes of consumers as they walk down the store aisle. And with 60 extra square inches of exterior surface area on the packaging, there's plenty of room to distinguish a brand. Jeggy is currently 70 cents more expensive to manufacture than traditional egg cartons. However, Jeggy requires less refrigeration than traditional egg cartons and can reduce waste from unrefrigerated and cracked eggs. It will also be much cheaper for eggs to be transported locally by dry freight rather than refrigerated freight. When you consider that this is a premium product that prevents broken eggs and assures customers of safe eggs, the benefit is clear. The brand loyal target market of this product places importance on environmentally friendly products. We predict that there will be customer growth rather than loss due to the never before seen egg carton design.
We hope you're as excited as we are to see the future of egg packaging, and we can't wait to revolutionize the way you look at eggs. If you have any questions, please feel free to Zoom message anyone in this group or email me, Haley, at the email on the screen. We'd like to thank our industry mentor, Whitney Fortin at Happy Egg, for her advice, guidance, and the opportunity to tackle this problem. We'd also like to thank Rachel Sullivan and the McMillon Innovation Studio for the resources and learning we've gained this semester. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Happy Egg team. Now we're going to move on to the portion where we hear from the Launch Lab team. So the first Launch Lab team we'll hear from is the gas pump project. So Mary, I'll hand it over to you.
Hi, good evening, guys. I'm going to share my screen right now. Do y'all see it? Okay. Julie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. This is the Gasoline Runoff Project. I'm Julia Davis, a junior management major, and presenting alongside me is Mary Pham, a sophomore information systems and supply chain major. So we started this project with the goal of solving the fuel leakage problem that occurs after you fill up your vehicle and drips of gas fall onto the ground. And so first we wanted to understand the effects of this spillage. And so we started this project doing in-depth research on this leakage. So we narrowed it down to 3 main issues with gas spills. First is environmental harm. So the gas evaporates into the air, and when it rains, it seeps into the surrounding soil and groundwater. And so the second effect is the cost to gas stations. So on average, it costs about $6 to $10 per spill, with hundreds of these small spills occurring across gas stations every year. And then the worst effect is the exposure to carcinogenic compounds. And gasoline contains benzene, which causes cancer and lung issues. And people are exposed to this compound every time gas is spilled.
So we began the semester pitching at the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation seed funding event. And luckily we had won the full $2,000 that we had asked for. And Julia, our project manager, went through Launch Lab this semester in order to gain the necessary resources to commercialize our invention. They connected us with our mentor, who is in the business, fuel, and engineering industry. And he met with us every week and gave us a lot of advice on starting our business and even in designing the prototype. Launch Lab had also allowed us to be paired up with a patent attorney. And we used the $2,000 that we won from the seed funding event to hire the patent attorney and pay an engineer to build our prototype. Our first step in the patenting process was to research similar patents and refine our prototype.
So for our customer discovery, we interviewed senior regional managers of fuel at both Walmart and Littlefield Oil Co. in order to determine the market for our product and see if they would be interested in trying a nozzle attachment as long as it didn't slow down the flow rate. All participants said that they would be interested in trying our product. We also put out a Qualtrics survey for people who drive a car in order to see which factors of the fueling process they deemed important. So here's a chart of one of the questions that we asked. We wanted to gauge the importance of 5 different gas station factors, ranging from not at all important to extremely important. And we found that distance to house, gas price, and cleanliness were overwhelmingly important to consumers, and that being a frequent consumer and sustainable goals were less important. This led us to focus on creating the cheapest solution to gas spillage so that we wouldn't drive up gas prices for gas stations.
At the beginning of the semester, we had a completely different prototype that was extremely effective at stopping the leakage from the nozzle, as you can see in the GIFs on the slide. But upon further testing, we found that it affected the flow rate and made fueling slower. This led us to go back to the drawing board and figure out a new design that would be able to fit all of our criteria. With permission from these people to use their names and photos, here are some of the people that we had reached out to this semester. We talked to Hugh Churchill, a physics professor at the University of Arkansas, who gave us a wonderful idea for our final prototype. We also spoke to Martha Londigan of Startup Junkie Foundation before winning the seed funding event to talk about the patenting process, and she actually referred us to our current patent attorney.
So after getting paired with our mentor, Saeed Biabani, he helped give us advice on prototype development, starting an LLC, and patenting advice. With his prototype ideas, we were able to create a prototype that didn't slow down the flow rate. Through Launch Lab, Kyle Berger has given our team a lot of advice on business strategy, contacts within the business and engineering fields, as well as business formation advice. We also spoke with Christopher Stewart, a senior manager of fuel compliance at Walmart. He told us that we needed to create a product that did not slow down the flow rate. And in order to gain a broad perspective of the fuel ecosystem, we needed to speak with nozzle manufacturers. So we spoke with sales managers at both Husky and OPW, which are the leading nozzle manufacturers, as well as a compliance manager at Walmart, to gain insights on regulations regarding putting a product inside the gas nozzle. And we learned from this that our only constraint was in regard to flow. Whatever we designed could not restrict the flow of gasoline. Now that is why we created a nozzle attachment that is cheap enough to implement compared to dripless nozzles and does not slow down filling time. The process to building this prototype took testing 30 different types of prototypes and constant testing in a controlled environment to make sure that we didn't mess with the flow. As of late, we have settled on a good design that does not slow down the flow rate. We will continue refining the dimensions in order to create a perfect prototype.
As for the future of this project, our main plan is to keep refining and testing our prototype, create a business entity, patent our prototype, and then sell it off to a bigger company. Looking back throughout this year, we have learned a tremendous amount about prototype development, engineering design concepts, the patenting process, and business formation. We were able to pivot away from our previous prototype, and with a lot of advising from our mentors and people around us, we found a design that just might be the one. This project has given me so many skills and connections that I'll take with me in my future entrepreneurial endeavors. And so it personally brought me out of my comfort zone to think about prototyping, testing, meeting with professionals in the industry, and even presenting at pitch competitions.
We started this project about 2 years ago with such a small idea, and slowly we had to create our own vision for this project. It has not been easy being full-time college students with part-time jobs, but it would not have been possible without the tremendous support and resources from the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And so we would like to say thank you to everyone who has given their time to meet with us throughout this semester about our project. Lastly, we would like to thank everyone here for listening to our presentation.
Thank you so much, Julia and Mary. Next, we will hear from the Omni Furniture Project. So I'll hand it over to you, Logan.
Thank you, Natalie. Let me get my screen shared. Awesome. So it's an honor to be a part of the Launch Lab pilot series this year and to present Omni for this year's demo day. My name is Logan Wyatt, and I'm currently a junior focusing on entrepreneurial studies and minoring in information systems and marketing. I'm joined today by Davis Hogue, who is the co-founder of Omni.
My name is Davis Hogue, and I'm the product manager of Omni. I am currently studying management, marketing, and finance, and I am currently enrolled as a junior here at the University of Arkansas.
So Omni was created to disrupt the existing furniture market by integrating modular design principles. So first, I'd like to introduce you to our whole team, which includes Grace Blasey, who's our design lead, Mackenzie Lemon, who's the furniture architect, Hannah Peavy, who's just a general architect, Taylor DiCarlo, who's in charge of graphic design, and Johnny Raby, who is our product engineer.
Now let's address the problems that exist in the current furniture market. The first problem is that many furniture manufacturers claim to use sustainable practices when referring to products materials used. The second issue associated with the furniture market includes the high MSRP associated with the goods they offer. This is likely due to the high lag time for reoccurring customers to purchase a new and different item. The third problem is that the current market is dominated by static furniture. Omni defines static furniture as a piece of furniture that serves one purpose, meaning a desk can only be used as a desk. Other issues include lack of general customability, difficult instructions regarding assembly, and the trivial problems associated with transporting furniture during a move.
So to solve these problems, Omni will first source high quality materials. Currently, we are researching various high quality sustainable materials and construction methods to increase the average lifespan of our products to be used again and again. The second solution considers cost effectiveness. Omni products are to be price competitive for the kit products we offer. The benefit of Omni products is the ability to reconfigure the modules that are included in each kit into new furniture pieces or expand existing configurations. And lastly, we want to offer limitless customization. Omni breaks the barrier of static furniture by allowing users to manipulate and reconfigure their Omni products countless times.
The underlying magic of Omni is comprised of three different module categories. The first is the Omni bracket, which serves as the connection modules that maintain structural integrity of all configurations. There are 8 configurations of the Omni brackets, all of which serve unique structural purposes and can be applied in various scenarios. The second, the Omni bar, which are the beams that interface with the Omni bracket modules, and together they form structural frames. And the third and final module is the Omni panel. The Omni panels are essential panels that cover open faces of the frame created by Omni brackets and Omni bars. There will be both functional and decorative Omni panels upon release to meet consumer needs. All 3 of these modules are included in every base kit offered on our e-commerce site. Additional modules can be purchased a la carte to expand existing kits.
And as you can see right here, this is what the Omni bracket would look like. And then these are the Omni bars. So now to talk about our business model. Omni's early stage business model is broken into 4 pillars. The first pillar is our growth strategy. The expansive modular system allows Omni to offer new products and accessories to the existing ecosystem. For example, this may be new modules to increase consumer customization, such as organization modules, or electrical modules, or aesthetic appearance modules. These are sold a la carte and integrate seamlessly with existing kit products. The second pillar is our competitive strategy. Omni will have a competitive advantage over the intellectual property rights of our modular ecosystem. This allows for the potential of licensing our modules to existing furniture manufacturers or vendors to create their own add-ons. We will maintain rights on brackets, which will increase direct sales for our starter kits and increase royalty rewards by third-party manufacturers. The third pillar is our market segments. Omni is anticipated to be segmented into 3 primary markets, the first being business-to-business sales, the second being business-to-consumer, and the final being our certified secondary market at a future date. We will be able to repurchase used Omni products and grade them based on condition. The goal is to keep our products from entering landfills and to be repurposed through the supply chain at a discounted rate. And the fourth and final pillar is our value proposition, which is derived from maintaining proper intellectual property rights on our products as well as licensed ones. Any expansion of an Omni system base kit generates additional value to us from revenues on a higher margin accessories.
The first segment, business to business. Omni's business to business distribution will consist of designing modular displays that allow retail partners to configure store display units dependent on their seasonal or promotional needs. Planned products are grocery and product display units, store shelving units, wall organization units, and end cap display units.
So this is a sample we made, obviously for Walmart as just a sample product. Our most anticipated segment to enter is the consumer line of Omni products. So this would include desks, beds, seating, including couches, benches, and chairs, storage solutions, outdoor furniture, and in the future, structural applications such as pergolas, mezzanines, and grill stations.
Omni's marketing strategy. Omni's short-term marketing strategy foundation is based on satisfying the needs of our minimal viable audience, which has been identified as minimalistic Mike. Minimalistic Mike would be male, approximately 20 to 30 years old, has a median income around $50,000 to $75,000, lives in an apartment or a condo style housing. Minimalistic Mike classifies as an innovator and early adapter within our innovation adoption curve, and will promote our Purple Cow brand naturally through social media interactions, website shares, and word of mouth marketing. Once the early adapter and innovation stages have been satisfied, additional personas will be identified and targeted through the same strategy. This will include Aesthetic Ann, Setup Sam, Techie Trevor, and Productive Pam.
So to view the competitive landscape, Omni expects to have 4 main competitors, which includes TojaGrid, they specialize in modular pergolas, Burrow, who does washable couches, Lovesac, which does modular not as similar to what Omni is proposing, but modular furniture and IKEA. So to the right, we've created a product positioning map to show the competitive landscape.
The management team. Omni's management team currently includes Logan Wyatt, the founder, and Davis Hogue, the co-founder, who both play a pivotal role in Omni's success. Tasks are shared between management where all individuals are responsible and accountable. Information transparency to all employees, no matter their role within Omni, is the type of culture we wish to establish in the future, which will keep goals aligned and productivity rates high.
There are 3 initial key metrics that Omni will focus on. The first key metric will be our GMROI, which will be essential in understanding our inventory profitability with regard to our inventory turnover ratio. This metric is essential in assessing the early production runs for Omni and how profitable our inventory will be with respect to solvency. The second metric will be our average sale, which is critical in understanding what Omni customers purchase and how they purchase. This will give us better scope of projected inventory capacity that is matched with demand with the goal of keeping overhead low. And the final metric will be our customer acquisition costs. We will need to know how much it costs to convert new leads into first time, second time, and third time returning customers. This will open opportunities for price-related promotions and reward systems for loyal customers.
Thank you to the Omni Furniture team. Because of time, we've hit 7 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and head on to our last team to present.
Thank you.
Sustainable Concrete is our next project, so I'm going to hand it over to Madeline to share her screen.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing? My name is Madeline, and I am here today to get you all excited about sustainable concrete. Before we fully dive into the project that I have been working on over the past couple of semesters, I'd like to introduce a little bit more about myself. I am from Austin. I am a junior here at the University of Arkansas, currently studying management with a focus in entrepreneurship and small business. God willing, I am planning on graduating next spring. Being from Austin, I have noticed the immense growth in the population, which has also got me thinking about sustainability. Sustainability has been a big thing for me. I've been really laser focused in on kind of researching more sustainable methods regarding materials, more specifically within concrete. I'm gonna take you on a little journey of sustainability through my lens and turning one man's plastic into another man's utility. Why should we care about utility? After water, concrete is the most widely used substance on Earth. It is the primary foundation of every modern industry. The UN has predicted that our population will grow by about 2 billion within the next 30 years. That's 2 billion more people demanding this infrastructure. And with our current production methods of concrete, it's just simply not sustainable. For example, in India, they are facing a sand shortage right now, and sand is one of the primary aggregates in concrete mixtures. So they are being forced to turn to more innovative and sustainable methods in producing concrete, incorporating plastics into their roads. Here's our problem. We have this growing demand for infrastructure. Not only has this increased the need for concrete production, but this has led to the depletion of those natural resources such as sand and our landfills at a premium. This is where I come in with my solution. It's that utilization of recycled plastic granules and fly ash, which is a byproduct of carbon emissions, to replace sand in concrete as part of sustainable design, not creating a modern juxtaposition in structures and destruction, but it's alleviating some of that negative connotation within the construction industry. For those of you not super familiar with the basic composition of concrete, I'm going to give you a little bit of some background. So we have our basic water, air, Portland cement, and then we're getting into our natural resources, such as those coarse aggregates, which is those larger pebbles and rocks. And then the fine aggregate here, which is the sand. And that's kind of what we're focused on, which makes up almost 50% of the mixture. Here is my composition. What I'm doing here is I'm replacing about 20% of that mixture with an SLA. SLA stands for synthetic aggregate, which a combination of those plastic granules and the fly ash. So not only are we alleviating some of that heavy demand for that natural resource sand, but we're getting those carbon emission byproducts, fly ash, and the plastics out of our landfills. Super cool that I came across a couple months ago is a patent. And this patent is really focused on the mixture that I have been researching. I have been in contact with one of the inventors, Christopher Swan, who is a professor at Tufts University in the Northeast. And he's super keen on the concept of commercializing this. However, you know, this patent was made in 2001. It's 2021 and technology has changed and it continues. And there's some really cool, valuable technologies that are being brought on board that I would like to share with you all today. So another really valuable thing about this patent is that it incorporates those 3 through 7 plastics. If you're not familiar with the plastic scale, it's on a 1 through 8 deal. So you have your 1s and 2s. Those are your plastic water bottles and your kind of clear plastics that you can easily just throw into the recycling bin and hope that, you know, they make it to the recycling facility. However, those 3 through 7s are not really currently being recycled. And there's something really cool that I've come in contact with over the past couple of weeks is Mark Recycling. So they are a recycling plant here in Rogers, Arkansas, and they are incorporating robotics into their plastic sorting system. And they're really starting to emphasize that 3 through 7 plastic market. So as you can see here, these plastics are super low value. They're at like $40 to $100 versus your 1s, which is at the market price of about $200 to $300 per ton. Fly ash is super low value at about $15 to $40 per ton versus that cement that we would be replacing a portion of. And this is kind of the path that I'm on right now in terms of testing and research. So I am dedicating my whole summer to this project. I'm getting in contact with Mark Recycling, and I'm planning on getting a tour of their recycling plant, as well as bringing in that patent and figuring out kind of the granule size plastics that I'm needing, as well as bringing on that fly ash, and then taking that to a larger concrete manufacturing facility, Aquacrete. In contact with Randy Murray, who is owner of Aquacrete, and he basically told me, hey, bring me the granules and the fly ash in the size that you need them, and let's start this testing process. I would ideally license and end with a concrete mixture. So in terms of next steps and potential business models, I'm still really in the early stages, but I am seeking engineering professionals and scientists to kind of help me break down the science behind this patent and understand the numbers when I'm bringing it to these facilities for testing and research. There are a few different that can take in terms of business models. You know, I could serve as a supplier for the patented mixture to these ready mix companies for one. Another option could be supplying just the basics, the plastics and the fly ash to those ready mix suppliers for two. And the third option, which is kind of my long-term goal and really what I am striving for, is creating a fully blown ready mix manufacturing and supplying facility. So at the end of the day, folks, we are running out of time. These natural resources are depleting. This sustainable concrete mixture could decrease the accumulations of plastics and fly ash in landfills, as well as reduce raw material consumption and associated costs, specifically within sand transportation. I would just like to thank you all so much for being here and taking the time to listen to all of these wonderful ideas. I've really been blown away today. Just a super big thanks to all of the programs and the people that I've been involved with here at the university. Time is of the essence, and I think that we really need to take advantage of the full resources that we have here. So thank you. Also contact me. There's my phone number and my email if you'd like to reach out with any questions or comments or connections.
Thank you, Maddie, and thank you all to all of our students. That was amazing to hear. I am leaving this so inspired by the work that's being done by our students. And we have to remember that this was the first time that a lot of our student teams have actually seen each other's projects due to the remote nature of this last semester. So I want to thank Dean Waller for joining us today. Thank you, Rachel, for all the work that you've done. And thank you to all the students for all the work that you've put in. Thank you to the mentors. We've had so many projects, from diversity and inclusion to sustainability to the student experience, to product innovation. We're touching so many things within the McMillon Innovation Studio. We have a lot of great programs planned for next fall. We are already starting the recruitment process and are interviewing new project leads and students. And if anybody would like to be a mentor or join us on this journey, we hope you're proud of what's coming out of the studio. And we are excited to continue the work here at the University of Arkansas. So with that being said, thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you have a great evening, and we will see you here soon. Congratulations.